Now, what does Rama mean in Sanskrit? Shibi. Okay. Ra actually means light. Right? Light or effulgence or brilliance, or and Ma, one of the meanings of Ma is me. So Rama means the light in me. What light? The divine consciousness, or the divine consciousness within me is Rama. Okay, we call it the soul or whatever. Right? That divine consciousness is Rama. Now let us connect this with Ramayana, the story itself. How do we connect this with Ramayana, the story itself? Ramayana. Ayanam. Ramayanam. Right? Ramayanam. What is Ayanam? Our Sanskrit Pandita is here. I'm asking. Ramayanam. Okay. So wanderings of Rama. Right? So Rama is wandering. That is Ramayanam. So Rama, it's not just wandering in the forest, okay, from one end of India to another end of India. It is about ups and downs, all the problems he is facing. So Rama is going through all these problems. So he is traveling or traversing all these problems, right, with equanimity of mind. Ramayanam. Okay. Now we are going to connect this with yoga. That's where the interesting part is, right? We are going to connect Ramayanam with yoga. Now, what does Rama signify in yoga? Okay, Rama signifies your soul, divine, a part of the divine consciousness within you, which is Rama. Okay. Now, what does Sita signify? What does Sita signify? Asta is looking very carefully. I'm not asking her. She has already heard it. So, what does Sita signify? Sita signifies your mind. Mind. Okay. Now you have your soul and your mind. Now, the soul and mind has to unite. Right? The mind as of now is captured by Ravana. So what does Ravana signify? Mind is captured by Ravana and taken to Lanka. So what does Ravana signify? What does Lanka signify? Ravana signifies, Asta got that right, okay, last time. So anyone else, what does Ravana signify here? Anyone else? Surabhi? Huh? That I'll come to later. What does Ravana signify? Shibi, Ravana steals the mind. The clue is here, okay? Ravana steals the mind and takes it to Lanka. Thoughts, okay. You're getting close. Ravana kidnaps Sita, takes her to Lanka. So, Ravana keeps your mind in captivity. What keeps your mind in captivity? Your ego. Right? It is your ego which keeps your mind in captivity. Right? So your mind is kidnapped and kept away in Lanka. So where is Lanka? Lanka is your body itself. Right? So the mind is under the captivity of your ego in your body. Now comes Hanuman. Right? So, what does Hanuman represent? You were doing some exercises here, right? So, Hanuman has to do with something what you are doing just before the satsang. Yes. Good. Okay, so Hanuman represents breath. Okay, pranayama, the control of prana. And one of the main elements of control of prana is breath control, or different types of pranayama. So Hanuman represents that. Now you have Lakshman. What does Lakshman represent? That is also something you are doing. Except for Asta, anyone else can answer. I'm not asking Asta. That's just because she has heard it already, okay? Or she might have notes already. She has the notes. Okay, so what does Lakshman represent? Okay, you did that for 5 minutes. Okay, clue. Okay, before the satsang you did it for 5 minutes. So, yes. Okay, so it is awareness, concentration. Right? Dharana, dhyana. Both of them is represented by Lakshman. So pranayama is Hanuman, dharana and dhyana is Lakshman. Right? Using that, we are going to free your mind of ego or Ravana. Right? So we are going to finally get rid of Ravana using Lakshmana and Hanuman. Now, you have the monkey army, right? Lots of monkeys. What does the monkey army represent? What does the monkey army represent? Asta is smiling, nice smile. What does the monkey army represent? Sirbi, take a guess. What does monkey army represent? What does monkeys represent? Thoughts, okay. Before the thoughts, what happens? Monkey army represents our senses and things related to the senses. Thoughts are also part of it. Right? First comes the senses and then the thoughts. Right? So the monkey army represents that. Now the monkey army has to be coordinated, focused. Right? So your senses has to be focused, coordinated, using Hanuman, Lakshman, Sugriva, all of them. They have to be coordinated. So all of this is represented in Ramayana. Right? So when Valmiki wrote the Ramayana thousands of years back, there was no mention as Rama as divine God or anything of that sort. Right? Valmiki was very practically explaining the whole story. Right? Only when it comes to Tulasidas, the devotional aspect came into Rama and Ramayana. Okay, we started worshipping Rama and what he did. That is when Tulasidas started writing his interpretations of Ramayana. But those days when Valmiki wrote, it was practical applications, right? And how it all connects into yoga. So now we know why we love Rama, we worship Rama, and why Ramayana is a very important textbook in yoga. Now our Prime Minister Modi ji says Jai Siya Ram. It is not Jai Sri Ram. Prime Minister Modi ji now says Jai Siya Ram. Right? So what is so special about Sita? Right? So Rama went through all of this. So Sita is even more important than Rama. Right? When Rama was going through all of this, Sita is an equal part of all of this. Sita is also going through all of this. And she has full faith in Rama. Rama has to send Sita to the forest even after coming back, being the king and queen together. After the war, they come back, they start ruling the kingdom. Rama was crowned king, Sita becomes the queen. Even after that, Rama is forced to send Sita to the forest. Okay, so Sita is equally important as Rama. And when Sita has to go to the forest, Sita has no complaints about it. Right? So Sita is a very important component. Sita is someone who supports Ram in everything. So Ram has to send Sita to the forest because being a king, it was his duty to do that. It was his Dharma as a king. And Sita understood that 100%. And Sita had no qualms about it. Right? So she is also extremely special. She also has the same divine qualities. Leaving everything and going. So we respect Sita as much as we respect Ram. And that is why Prime Minister Modi ji is now saying Jai Siya Ram. So the equal importance is given to Ram and Sita. So that is about it for this week. Any questions?